You are actively participating in your own financial slaughter. That cash you think is keeping you safe is mathematically engineered to devour you. The elite are praying you never discover the ruthless mechanism to escape their rigged casino and permanently buy your soul back. Look closely at that stack of $100 bills hidden beneath your mattress, or that stagnant number glowing on your banking app. You feel secure, don't you? You look at that money and see a fortress, a barricade against a cruel and unpredictable world. I know that feeling intimately because I used to live in that exact same delusion. I hoarded cash in shoeboxes, shoving them into the darkest corners of my closet, desperately believing that as long as I could physically touch the paper, I was insulated from ruin. I was dead wrong. I was actively participating in my own financial slaughter, completely blind to the ghost in the room that was bleeding me dry. You are not holding safety. You are holding a melting block of ice, smiling as the water slips through your fingers, entirely unaware that the system was mathematically engineered to punish your caution and devour the ignorant. Before I pull back the curtain and show you how to stop this hemorrhage, Rich Habits Daily welcomes you to the truth. If you want to survive what is coming and build undeniable wealth, hit the subscribe button right now to support the channel so we can continue bringing you the unvarnished reality the financial elite want to keep hidden from you. Now, ask yourself the most dangerous question. How do you actually survive and make real money in this rigged game? To survive, you must first stare your invisible enemy dead in the eyes. That enemy is inflation, and it does not kick down your door in the middle of the night. It is a silent, systemic parasite that operates every single second you draw breath. $100 today is a decaying asset. A decade from now, that same $100 will barely buy you half of what it does today. Your hard-earned cash is literally cannibalizing its own purchasing power. If your life savings are sitting in a traditional checking account, you are not playing it safe. You are slowly dying of financial asphyxiation. To stop the bleeding, you have to completely shatter your definition of investing. Forget the flashing, chaotic screens of Wall Street. Block out the agonizing noise of crypto gamblers praying for a miracle.
True investing, in its purest, most ruthless and elegant form, is simply buying the legal right to own a piece of a relentlessly profitable business. You are purchasing a tireless machine that prints money while you sleep, while you eat, and even while you take your last breath. When you own these machines, you extract their lifeblood through two channels: capital gains and dividends. Capital gains are the sheer, explosive inflation of your ownership stake as the business crushes its competitors. Dividends are the cold, hard cash the corporate machine spits directly into your palm simply because you hold the deed. But the true miracle, the undeniable weapon of mass wealth creation, is compound interest. It is a financial avalanche. Picture a tiny snowball rolling down a jagged mountain, violently gathering mass, speed, and an unstoppable, terrifying momentum. Let me give you the brutal math. If you take just $250 a month, the cost of mindless weekend distractions, and let it sit in a vehicle compounding at 10% annually, you are not merely saving a few $1,000s. Through the sheer, mutating violence of compounding, over 3 or 4 decades, that pathetic monthly contribution morphs into a multi-million-dollar empire. But the catalyst for this mutation is not the size of your wallet. It is time. Time is the only currency you can never buy back, and every single day you hesitate, you are reaching into the future and stealing from yourself. But understanding that time is your weapon means absolutely nothing if you aim it at the wrong target. I remember sitting in my cramped apartment, eyes burning from the blue light of my laptop, trying to outsmart Wall Street by picking individual stocks. I was hunting for the next explosive tech giant, the hidden pharmaceutical gem, genuinely believing my meager hours of internet research could beat the algorithmic supercomputers and insider networks of the financial elite. It was pure arrogance, and the market punished me with surgical precision, wiping out thousands of my dollars in a matter of days. That was my painful baptism into the reality of the vehicle you choose for your capital. The financial industry thrives on your overconfidence. They actively want you trading constantly because every time you buy and sell, they skim fees right off the top, bleeding your portfolio through 1,000 invisible cuts. To truly win, you have to stop playing their rigged casino games and step out of the casino entirely.
The ultimate revelation for me was discovering broad market index funds and exchange-traded funds. Instead of agonizing over finding the needle in the haystack, you simply buy the entire damn haystack. You are purchasing a singular, self-cleansing entity that holds the top, most ruthless companies in the nation or the world. If a business fails or falters, it is automatically ejected from the index and immediately replaced by a stronger, hungrier competitor without you lifting a single finger. You do not have to read balance sheets until your eyes bleed, nor do you have to predict consumer trends or supply chain collapses. By purchasing a broad index fund, you are intrinsically betting on human progress, human greed, and the undeniable historical trajectory that, over decades, markets inevitably rise. It is incredibly boring. It is completely unglamorous, and it is mathematically devastating to the so-called experts who try to beat it. While my friends were bragging about a lucky stock pick at a dinner party only to lose it all 6 months later, my automated investments were silently compounding, completely immune to the noise and friction of individual corporate failures. The moment I finally surrendered my ego and accepted that I could not beat the market, I became the market, turning their vast systemic power into my own personal engine of relentless wealth generation. Once you have positioned your capital into these relentless market-capturing machines, you will face an enemy far more terrifying than inflation: your own mind. It is incredibly easy to feel like an untouchable financial genius when the market is surging, but the true test of your wealth-building character happens when the world abruptly catches on fire. I will never forget the physical nausea I felt during my first major market crash, watching years of my hard-earned savings seemingly evaporate in a matter of hours as the news anchors screamed about the end of the global economy. Every survival instinct hardwired into my ancient DNA was screaming at me to sell, to liquidate whatever was left, and to run back to the perceived safety of cash beneath the mattress. This is the exact psychological trap where generational wealth is either permanently destroyed or quietly created. The masses always panic and sell at the absolute bottom, locking in their devastating losses out of sheer, unadulterated terror. But the financial elite, the ones who truly understand the mechanics of the game, view a red, bleeding market not as a tragedy, but as the greatest clearance sale of their entire lives. A market crash is simply a violent, rapid transfer of wealth from the impatient and fearful to the patient and calculated. You have to actively train your brain to act completely counter to human nature. When the indices are down 20, 30, or 40%, you are buying the exact same world-class money-printing corporate machines, but at a massive, generational discount. The companies are still producing goods. People are still buying their daily coffee, paying their utility bills, and upgrading their phones,
even while the stock prices temporarily collapse under the weight of mass public hysteria. I had to physically force myself to turn off the television, delete the flashing investment apps from my phone, and blindly double my automated financial contributions. I felt like I was throwing my precious money into a burning building. But in reality, I was actually buying the heavy bricks for my future fortress at pennies on the dollar. You must learn to deeply embrace the bloodbath. Market volatility is not an actual risk to the long-term investor. Volatility is simply the unavoidable emotional toll you must pay on the highway to financial independence. If you cannot stomach the terrifying drops, you simply do not deserve the monumental, life-changing gains that inevitably follow the panic. Yet, surviving the mental torment of market crashes and exploiting them requires one fundamental reality. You must have the continuous, heavy cash flow to actually buy the blood in the streets. This is exactly where you have to take a brutally honest look in the mirror and completely audit the way you are living your daily life. For years, I was hopelessly trapped in the suffocating cycle of lifestyle creep, instantly upgrading my car, my clothes, and my apartment the absolute second my salary increased. I was actively trading my finite life energy for depreciating liabilities, desperately trying to project a hollow illusion of wealth to impress people I did not even genuinely like. I was driving a luxury sedan I could barely afford, parking it outside a rented apartment, feeling entirely bankrupt on the inside. True wealth is rarely what you can see. It is almost always what you do not see. It is the unspent capital, the paid-off mortgage, the heavily funded silent investment portfolios compounding in the dark. To fuel your wealth machine, you have to become utterly ruthless with your capital allocation. Every single dollar that comes into your possession is a loyal soldier in your financial army. And every time you buy a branded watch or an overpriced dinner for the sake of social media validation, you are marching your soldiers out to die in the muddy trenches of consumerism. I had to strip my life down to the absolute studs, driving a reliable used vehicle, completely ignoring the whispers of my peers who wrongly assumed I was struggling financially, and violently rerouting every spare cent into my investment accounts. But defensive frugality alone will not make you wealthy. It will only keep you from being desperately poor. You must simultaneously and aggressively attack your income ceiling. Whether it is demanding a raise based on undeniable corporate value, acquiring high-income skills late into the night while others sleep, or launching a scalable side business, your offensive strategy must be just as fierce as your defense. When you successfully combine a fiercely high income with an intentionally minimalist lifestyle, the gap between what you earn and what you spend becomes a roaring, unstoppable river of capital that you pour directly into your investments, accelerating your timeline to freedom by decades. When you finally stop burning your soldiers on the altar of consumerism and allow them to violently multiply, you arrive at the ultimate realization of what this financial war was actually fought for. This grueling journey, the social sacrifices, the iron discipline, and the terrifying leaps of faith into crashing markets were never actually about acquiring a massive pile of money. Money is just printed paper, and wealth is just a glowing digital ledger. They are completely and utterly meaningless on their own. The true prize, the only thing that justifies this relentless and exhausting pursuit, is the absolute sovereignty over your own existence. I remember the exact morning it hit me with the force of a freight train. The moment my passive investment income finally eclipsed my monthly living expenses. I woke up, looked silently at the ceiling, and realized that for the first time in my adult life, I did not have to be anywhere I did not want to be. I did not have to tolerate a toxic boss,
commute through soul-crushing gridlocked traffic, or trade the finite, unrecoverable hours of my life just to keep the lights on and the fridge stocked. I had finally bought back my soul. True wealth is waking up on a random Tuesday morning and having the supreme, unquestionable power to dictate exactly how your day will unfold. It is having the impenetrable financial armor to weather any sudden medical emergency, unpredictable family crisis, or severe economic depression without a single shred of panic. It is about building a quiet, unshakable legacy that will protect your children and your grandchildren long after you are put in the ground. The modern world wants you constantly tired, buried in consumer debt, and perpetually desperate, because a desperate person is an obedient worker and a ravenously profitable consumer. By actively choosing the lonely path of the investor, you are staging a silent, devastating rebellion against a system meticulously designed to keep you running on a treadmill until the day you die. It requires a level of pain that most people will automatically reject, and a depth of discipline that most people will eagerly mock. But when you finally cross that invisible finish line and step fully into the warm sunlight of total financial freedom, you will look back at the sacrifices, the fear, and the relentless discipline, and you will know with every fiber of your being that buying your life back was worth every single drop of blood. True financial freedom is not won by sheer luck or by playing the rigged, fee-draining games of Wall Street. It is forged through relentless discipline, emotional fortitude, and a fundamental shift in how you view the purpose of money. The journey begins by stepping out of the casino of individual stock picking and instead buying the entire market through broad index funds, allowing the natural upward trajectory of human progress to do the heavy lifting for you. However, this mechanical strategy is completely useless without the psychological resilience to endure terrifying market crashes. Instead of panicking when the market bleeds, the true investor views these crashes as generational wealth-building opportunities, eagerly buying world-class corporate assets at a massive discount. To fuel this wealth-generating engine, you must ruthlessly audit your lifestyle, stripping away the illusion of status and the toxic consumerism that traps so many in a lifelong cycle of endless labor. By fiercely attacking your income ceiling while maintaining a defensive, minimalist lifestyle, you create an unstoppable river of capital to invest. Ultimately, the end goal of this grueling financial war is never just to hoard digital numbers or printed paper. It is about acquiring the ultimate human prize, total sovereignty over your own time and existence. When your passive income finally surpasses your living expenses, you officially buy back your soul from a system designed to keep you running on a treadmill. You achieve the supreme power to wake up every single day and live entirely on your own terms, building an unshakable fortress that protects you and your family forever. Wealth is not a measure of what you can display to others. It is a measure of the unrecoverable time you have successfully bought back for yourself. Every dollar you earn is a soldier, and money is simply a tool that must be aggressively deployed to conquer your freedom rather than sacrificed for temporary social validation. True wealth is silent, disciplined, and entirely focused on autonomy. Start today by taking a brutally honest audit of your monthly expenses. Cut out the status symbols and subscriptions that drain your capital but add no genuine value to your life. Take the money you save and immediately set up an automated, recurring transfer into a broad market index fund, like the S&P 500. Do this relentlessly, every single month, completely ignoring what the news or the stock market is doing. Simultaneously, focus on increasing your value. Ask for that raise, learn a high-income skill, or start a scalable side hustle to aggressively widen the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Train your mind today so that when the next market crash happens, you do not panic, but instead double your investments. If you had total financial freedom today and never had to work for money again, what is the very first thing you would do with your Monday morning? Please share your thoughts and plans in the comment section below. We would love to read your perspectives and inspire one another. Also, if you found value in this message, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Your subscription gives us the motivation to keep creating more powerful, life-changing content for you.